Hello, I am CouchCube and welcome to a video that is 3 months late. Little backstory, I own this game on the PlayStation 4 Pro and I've been putting videos out about the patches and its performance. We're up to patch 1.11 and I now own a PlayStation 5 and I've sat down and managed to compare the two versions because I think the patch, the most recent, did some major things to the PlayStation 4 Pro edition of the game. I think both versions need holding up against each other now after launch, this long after launch.
Fucking drive, Jackie!
Come on!
Can't! Keep her steady!
Some of you will be in the position that I was 3 days ago where I'm waiting to get the 5, I have the Pro version of the game and I want to see the changes against both versions after patch 1.11. Now there's two sides to this coin. It's very strange. I'm personally not bowled over massively by what I see on the PlayStation 5 against the PlayStation 4 Pro. That's really good news for you guys, I think, is that the gap between the two versions is actually not that massive, but there are some key elements that the PlayStation 5 has. And one of them is the draw distance and the driving issues. You can see quite clearly on the right that the Pro has some issues with the very far distance load-ins and of course a lot more of that speckly funny powder effect, but that effect has not gone on the PlayStation 5 version. This issue was looked at and addressed massively with the larger patches 5 and 6 from launch with the Pro version of the game, and I don't think what we're seeing here is too bad. Things start to change though when you get into the busy sections of some of the areas of the map. The slums is a very good place to test this. You do see some judderiness over there on the right, and of course the loading in of the textures, which is something an SSD drive could actually sort out on your Pro. But if you want my advice, don't go out and buy an SSD drive just for that. Just get the 5. Now another thing I want to point out is duplication of non-player characters and car types. That is gone on the PlayStation 5, and there seems to be different sort of loadouts with the NPC outfit, stuff I've not seen before. If you know my Instagram account, I've basically taken footage of every single square inch of this game. As soon as I fired up the 5 version, I started seeing combinations and characters and outfits that I'd just not seen. We're going to compare it a little bit more later at night time, but one of the first things that will strike you is the reflections, the smoke detail, and all that neon aspects that you're having with the PlayStation 5 version of this game. It is probably the generation's best looking open world game at the moment. The detail when you put the 5 version on that just isn't there on other versions is noticeable. But you've got to remember, it is only detail and it is only visuals. This base level or core game is identical on both the systems, and that sort of stuff rushes past you in action. If you're just crazy about looking at a detailed, intricate city like I am, then it's a bonus. One of the messages of this video is that the gap between these versions is not massive, and it's really boiling down to stuff like smoke density and ray tracing. And of course, one other thing that is unignorable and something that was the bane or is the bane of the other systems, and it's the frame rates, especially in combat. Now, the PlayStation 5 A does not have any issues with frame rates during the most heaviest combat I've ever seen in this game, but B also has no character popping whatsoever. When you push L2, you can push forward on the directional button. If you've seen some of the previous videos, that texture would not always load in. That is one of the major selling points for me getting the 5 and playing this game on it, is those boosted frame rates, and I think we're looking at a pegged 60, maybe even more in quiet sections of the map, but it feels phenomenal. And of course the game is caught up with you. There was always this delay, you used to see it on The Division, when the scripting and what's happening or dialogue would follow behind you almost in time. If you were walking too fast, you'd come up to a situation and everything would just flow in later. There's none of that. And another thing I wanted to point out was look at the light produced by the explosions and the grenades. Coming off the pavement, coming off the buildings, evening combat is a whole new deal on the PlayStation 5.
Corporation forces are under attack. Call for fucking backup! Exchanging fire!
So this is the PlayStation 4 Pro's weakest area, and it's the night time, and when you see the dynamacy of the can of Coke, it's putting me off. I'm trying to do my... So there you go, there is still crazy shit happening. But my point being, this is my first step into the current gen graphics, and if I owned a PC then this would be a big expensive graphics card, but it's my PlayStation 5 and I'm seeing stuff that is absolutely knocking me off my chair. And I know it's just a huge coincidence that Cyberpunk is really fresh off the bat with some new tech, and that we've got it on the PlayStation 5 with this edition. Just imagine what we're going to get in March. I know it's been delayed, but this big patch is going to turn things crazy. And of course, the only stuff letting this game down now is that bullshit police system. Now, Pro owners, I want you to look over to the right. This is an incredible looking game on both systems. I don't want you to sit there thinking that you're losing out massively on a visual level, because you're not. There's not that much in it. But really, when you get it on a 4K TV, it's very difficult to show you guys on YouTube, especially in the reflections and of course coming off other objects. Independent dynamic light behaving differently. I have the worst internet in my area, and I'm with the Talk narrowband special deal, right? And so I have to download my games onto the 5 strategically, and I did this first. I've got the new COD lined up now, but I can't do them all at once. But this made me feel like, when I sat down and played it, that I was on a new system. Are you with me? It really hit home. Are you doing the can of Coke again? So I hope this has helped a little bit about how big that patch 1.11 was, and how little difference there really is between the systems when you look at it on face value. When you start digging down, certain aspects obviously do become apparent. But just also, I didn't get my 5 delivered to me because I'm some sort of YouTuber, 10,000 subs. I sat for 2 months with the internet open, refreshing pages at 2 a.m. And I finally just got lucky 2 days ago. So I hope you guys all the best of luck with that. I've got a feeling that March patch will come on the 26th, same day as Monster Hunter Rise.